Hello and welcome to another IndySoft Tip Tuesday. My name is Evan and today I want to talk to you about tolerance formulas, but more specifically about setting a tolerance formula maybe for a range or per test point. Many of you may be familiar with using the tolerance calculator off to the right and just applying that to your test points as you go. We can kind of get a little more granular than that though, because sometimes you maybe have different ranges that you're covering and you want to go a bit more in depth than just having this applied to all of your test points. So this is useful for anyone putting, data into the system, for anyone else to go calibrate, anyone doing calibrations on the fly, needing to have these be calculated for them based on a different formula. So I'm going to switch over to my setup grid here, and you'll see I've got a few additional columns that I've added in here and a handful of test points already. So let me just walk you through that real quick. So over here in the top left of our grid, we've got our little orange asterisk, and if you click on that, you can, of course, alphabetically sort your available fields. I've just turned on the tolerance minus formula, the tolerance plus formula, and then of range factor and of range range. There's obviously a lot more to choose from, and I'll kind of give a brief overview on those as well. So the first example range here I've got is let's say we're testing voltage, and it goes up to 10 volts for this range. So of range is 10. It's a 10 volt range. I've set that to 10. Let's just say there's a factor of 2 for the tolerance on that range. And then if I want to look at the formula here, I'm going to click on these three dots on the tolerance minus formula. Same thing for the tolerance plus formula, although one has plus and one has a minus, right? So in this right section, I've got that tolerance formula itself that I'm using. So I've got S minus of RAF over of range. What is that? Where'd I get it? That's the same fields that I showed you adding in the asterisk there to my grid. So I'm going to expand this a little bit for you. Scroll down, and once I get to S, there's S. That's my standard value, my nominal test point value. And I'm subtracting, what is that? My of RAF and of range right up here. So that of RAF is my factor from the range, right? Whether that's 2%, 3%, whatever that needs to be for you. In this case, I just did the factor divided by the range. And again, I'm just pulling those values from this left side over here into my formula there. You do want to use parentheses to set your order of operations and such there potentially. Just be mindful of that. And once you're happy with that formula, you can hit OK. And let's say you want to continue to apply that formula to other test points. I can, of course, highlight that cell, so to speak, copy, paste those formulas individually, but that's still not the most efficient. One thing I'd like to do here is use our built-in copy and paste functions, right? So if I copy this, row 2, it's already selected the one that I was highlighted on. So I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to just hit paste, paste, and I've added 2 more test points to that range. So if I go ahead and hit 6 and 10 to round out that range, we see those tolerances get recalculated with the given formula there. So I want to build out my 100 volt range now. I'm going to go ahead and tell it that's a 100 volt range. Maybe that factor goes up to 5. And then I need to enter some actual standard values there. So if we go to 20, and then it's going to recalculate that as well. Similarly, if we go down to our 1000 volt range, right, I'm just kind of increasing things as I go here. Take the same formula. And of course, you can use a different formula for each range if that's something you needed to do, not just have different values. But it's going to recalculate those for you each time, and that way you can have separate ranges within your test points, copy paste, create relatively quickly, and not have to mess with changing it around over here. It'll also allow you, once you go into a calibration event, if you're in your results grid, if you were to enter a different value as you're doing your calibration, for example, recalculate that based on the tolerance for the given range that you're working in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday.